Hi, I'm Nick from Enemy, and we're here with Hazel from Lanterns on the Lake. How's it going?
Hiya, not bad, thank you.
So, we're speaking just before the Mercury Prize happens, and Spook The Herd, your fourth album, is up for the Mercury Prize. How does it feel to be nominated for the biggest prize in British music?
Yeah, I'm not going to play it down or anything. It feels pretty cool. It's just really nice as an artist to be recognised in this way, for something that you've worked really hard on and put everything into. And especially at this time when we thought maybe people had forgotten about the album with, having to cancel tours and stuff. So we're pretty chill.
And I know you were kind of saying before, because this is your first album since Beings, which came out in 2015. I know you've kind of spoken about how it's been hard to lay down the record for a load of reasons. I mean, there was work commitments, there was childcare. How does it feel that you've kind of got it out there and, people have reacted in the way that they have?
It feels great. I mean, there's always that thing before you put out a record where you're not really sure how it's going to be perceived. So it doesn't matter how much you believe in your work, you're never really sure until it's out there. And then we've had the odd thing of obviously not being able to tour and things like that. There's been that disconnect from how people are, how it's going down with your audience. And obviously people have been in touch on social media and all that kind of thing, saying that they loved it. But it's not the same as playing live and feeling that response in the room with you. So it's been a strange time to release a record. But we're very pleased that people seem to love it, and obviously the Mercury thing is just a massive bonus.
And I guess one reason why people really fell in love with it is just how relevant the record is, really. I mean, there's so many songs in it that kind of discuss just the world of today. I mean, for example, Before They Excavate was the one that really stood out for me, and kind of it's this take on the world in 2020, and there's that brilliant line, someday they'll carbon date this whole sorry mess we made. And it's just this kind of searing comment on society, everything we're going through at the moment. Well, when you started writing it, was it always the aim to make something that feels so timely and kind of tackles the kind of mess that we are in?
It wasn't the aim. I don't think we've ever, we never do sit down and think, this is what we're going to make a record about. And I certainly never sit down and think, right, I'm going to make a song that tackles these certain points, because then I think it feels too forced and it's not very natural. But that kind of stuff, like climate change and just global politics and everything that you see just flicking through the news or on social media, those things are the kind of things that are on my mind, and the things that we talk about as a band. When we get in the rehearsal room before we start playing, we're talk about that kind of thing. And so it's just, that's what happens. It seeps into the music and seeps into the words. But yeah, we certainly never planned to make it as relevant as it seemed to become.
But it's all kind of very subtle at the same time. I mean, another track on the album is Baddies, and you kind of talk about the wave of hate, and I guess it's kind of, if you're reading between the lines, you can see that it's kind of taking aim at the certain world leaders, but it's never too kind of in your face, it's never forced, it's always kind of on a natural level, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're not exactly, I would say we're not political with a capital P, more with a small p, that politics is in the songs, but more in I'd say not in a social commentary kind of way, just from a personal point of view. Do you know what I mean? It's not, we're not trying to lecture anybody or proclaim that we have any big answers to any of the massive questions. It's coming from the point of view of people that are just living in these weird times. If you told us a year ago that would be A, shortlisted for the Mercury Prize, and B, that it would be announced on the watch, I just wouldn't believe you. Yeah, it feels a bit strange. It's obviously this hugely prestigious award, and be interesting to see them go from talking about I don't know, sheepdogs or red to the winner of this hugely prestigious award. It's bizarre, but then there is still the proper Mercury show. We're still going to have a live performance on the night before, on the Wednesday night, so that'll still be good.
And there's the 25 grand prize if you win, if you kind of got together as a band and been right, this is where it's going if we win.
honestly not even thought about that. It would come in handy because we've just discovered there's been a big leak in our rehearsal room and loads of stuff's been
Oh no.
It would come in pretty useful for that. Now we're not even thinking about the winning side of things, like just chuffed to be on the shortlist and like have the album heard by more people.
But there's some like brilliant company on there as well. I mean, like on one end you've got like the big names, like it's like Dua Lipa, Stormzy, and then on the other side of things there's albums from like independent artists that are just some of the best of the year too. I mean, for me the Porridge Radio album is amazing. Like, who have you been listening to? Who are you liking out of that shortlist?
I like a lot of them actually, and some stuff I wouldn't have come across or listened to before. I like the Kano album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I've not listened to the Porridge Radio one. I do like that. And Anna Meredith, I'd be pleased for her if she won. It's a pretty good record.
Is there any artists who weren't nominated that you're thinking, you know what, maybe they should have had their moment on the list?
Well, like every year when the Mercuries are announced, everybody goes in a huff, don't they? Because like their favourite record or favourite band wasn't shortlisted. And I think you just have to accept that like those 12 albums are the ones that got picked. Of course, there's been loads of really strong records in the past year, but for whatever reason, they weren't shortlisted.
And on like a totally separate note, how are you finding everything that's happening in the Northeast at the moment? I'm kind of like seeing it, like how are you kind of coping that you've kind of come out and now you're back in this kind of weird lockdown? No one kind of really knows what's going on.
I know, I'm a bit gutted really. Like I think the first time it came around, the first lockdown, there was a bit of a novelty aspect to it.
Yeah.
And, people kind of pulling together and like, yeah, we can get through this. And now I think people are just feeling it a little bit bleak. I don't know how long it'll go on for or what's going to happen. And like, as usual, the government is like, the messaging's not been very clear. And I just think they've just handled the whole thing just so abysmally. They've got to be like the worst government, most incompetent of definitely my lifetime.
Yeah, for sure. And it's such a shame as well, because I know it's kind of prematurely ended the Unity arena. I mean, like the Northeast had such a pioneering thing for like live music. I was up there like a few weeks to see like Libertines, and it was actually kind of like the most normal thing I had in the entire summer.
Yeah, I know that's a shame, like especially because the Northeast was doing this really cool thing and showing the world how it could be done. Like there was another way of doing it. But again, and this has just kind of knocked all that. But I suppose just the nature of like the creative industries, I'm sure we'll find a way to make other things happen, other live music happen.
And have you given any thought to what the follow-up to Spook The Herd might look like? Because I know it's kind of 5 years. Is there kind of an idea where you want to kind of like just go straight into another one, or what we're going to see you guys do next?
Yeah, I'm really itching to get started on the next one. We do have a few like ideas that we started on, and then that had to take a back seat at the start of this lockdown. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to and itching to just get cracking on the next one. I don't know what it'll look like at the minute. I'm sure it'll find its own way.
All right, brilliant. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Hazel, and good luck with the Mercury.
Thank you very much. Cheers.